Hey, swing trader, Snacks here, and I've got a quick but I'd say important swing report here as we go into Jerome Powell's speech on Friday. Look, we're not doing any entries today. It's unpredictable, completely unpredictable. It's saying at about 80% that we think he's going to be dovish, so leaning towards a rate cut, but we just don't know, okay? We just simply do not know what Powell is going to say out there in Jackson Hole on Friday, so I'm going to wait. And we're also getting quite a pullback in the market, so let's take a look at that here. So a pullback, but we put in really a hammer candle on the indices, so some strength, right? Every dip has been getting bought up ever since the V-shaped recovery off of the tariff sell-off. Okay, so everything's been getting bought up. So we are very healthy, and it's a great sign that every time we do dip, that buyers step in. All right, and it's happened here again. You can see on all of the indices, end of day buying. So it's every time the bears try to step in, the bulls take over, and it's an opportunity, right? So a great reaction at or around our level on the indices here. Big tech sold off hard, but we got a reaction off the 50, currently putting in a higher low. All right, so we may even get a triple R setup on the indices, which would then roll over into our positions, our entries, right? We would get a lot of opportunities. So I'll look for a couple of those, but again, I'm not entering anything end of week here. This is purely to have an eye on what we'd like going into next week so we can pull the trigger and get into some really attractive positions should we get a positive reaction to Powell. But again, we're not going to predict. We're going to let that happen. So real quick here, net is one that I absolutely love. So we know that the triple R is our main setup. In a nutshell, it is a trending stock on a strong company backed by growing fundamentals, which net checks all of those boxes. And we like to see a pullback and then a reaction at or around one of our levels and a remount of the short term. So we've got a retraction, a reaction, and we're looking for the remount, okay? And if we get this back over the 9 next week, hopefully it holds down below, because again, I won't be entering predicting the reaction to the speech. I'm going to let it happen, and hopefully we stay here below or near it, maybe below the top of this range here for an entry next week coming off of a positive reaction. This is one of my favorites. And then, a lot of these really look the same. Palantir, we put in a hammer here as well off of the 50. Same deal. There's quite a bit of room up here to the 9. So I think this might be, if we get a really strong reaction on Friday to Powell speaking, which I believe it's late day. So I don't believe I'll be entering anything Friday. I would prefer to wait until Monday. But anyways, there's plenty of room here for a remount, right? I don't think we're going to run too hard off of his speech. I think things will, maybe wait and set up early next week. Okay, hopefully that is the idea at least. So Microsoft also looking the same here. We are testing the 50, got a deep retracement. So we've got a retraction, a reaction hopefully here off of the 50, and then a remount of the 9. That is a triple R trigger that we will take all day. We've got a trending stock of a good company backed by growing fundamentals. Guys, this is what we look for, okay? So before I finish up, because I want to keep this short, but before I wrap, this is opportunity. This is what we wait for. We're not day traders, okay? We are waiting for opportunities in the market. And let me go back to Dash and show you how effective this can be, right? Every time we get a retracement and a reaction off or around our levels, look at how strong of a setup we get time after time after time. So I've learned to wait for opportunities like this, right? I'm not overly positioned. I've got my longer term positions on, my leaps, right? But that only accounts at this point for 20% of my portfolio. So I've got, to go up to possibly, say we roll into an A risk profile on Monday coming off of a positive reaction from Powell, then I can put on 2, 3, maybe even 4 positions, right? Rolling into a market risk profile A. And this is what we're looking for, right? We've got a deep retracement and we're getting a reaction around major levels and a remount getting us back on trend. Guys, we're going to pull the trigger and be into some very high probability setups where we possibly go over 2-to-1 on our R because we're beyond earnings, right? So we've got plenty of times. We don't have to get very short-term leaps. We could maybe stretch it out a bit behind a week or two beyond the next earnings and maybe hit like a 3 or a 4R on some of these if we get a positive reaction. That is the hope. Look, guys, if we get a negative reaction, if he is hawkish at all, right, on the rate cut coming and possible rate cut coming in September, then we're going to need to look for plays to the downside, which we've got all of that set up. Okay, we are ready for that. But for now, because the odds are above currently 80% that we are going to get a rate cut, let's just stay mentally that thinking that we are, right? We're still in a very strong upward trend and a very strong bull market right now. We want to be favoring long plays, right? But we are prepared if we do have to switch our short-term thesis. But anyways, this is what we're looking at, guys. If we want to be trading the leaders, we had some relative strength here on HLI, and we actually had the triple R trigger yesterday on HLI. But again, I'm not looking to front run this meeting. And a couple more. This is one I would really like to get into, guys. So if we can stay below the 9 going into next week off of a positive reaction from Powell, then, oh man, this is just so sexy to me, guys. This is CRDO has some of the best growing fundamentals in the market. Their revenue growth, I believe, is leading. Okay, you can check me on that if you like. I know it's up there at the top. I believe it is leading. Okay. So we really want to get into this guy again if we can. So I would say this and maybe Dash. Guys, a lot of these, man, I'm so excited, right? I've changed to where I view drawdown, not always specifically in my account, but drawdowns, pullbacks are my opportunity. Pullbacks are opportunities, right? Because we're trading strong companies in a trend and we're waiting. The first letter, the first word in the triple R setup is retracement. Okay, we're waiting for this, guys. This is exciting. So we're going to be able to get into some really strong companies, guys, remounting their trends and just have beautiful positions to put on. So Carvana, same thing, guys. All of this looks the same, right? We're dropping down below the 50 here, but we immediately got bought back up. It closed just above. Over the 9, guys, this is attractive and has to be looked at. Reddit, I would say, is the other one that I'm quite interested in. Look at the rip this thing has done coming off of earnings. And guys, this is opportunity. The market, the macro scene is giving us an opportunity. It's giving us our retracement. Okay, we're getting our reaction and we are ready for the remount. Okay, and guys, we're gonna make some freaking money should we get back on trend in the markets, should we get the positive reaction from Powell. So guys, that's all I want to look at right now. Shop is another one. So I would say shop and spot, guys, same thing. Okay, we want to get into these things. They are hot, and if we are looking good going into early next week, we've got our hands on, I would say, 3 to 5 really good looking stocks that are clearly in a trend, clearly have that institutional backing. We are trading with the structure, and if we get back on trend, guys, we're going to make some freaking money. So I am really excited. These are the times of the year where, I'm up over 170% on the account in 2025, but guys, we could get a run here that takes us right over 200%, tripling the account in 2025. I am stoked. I could not be more excited for the week to come. If we get a good reaction from Powell, and if we don't, then you know what? We're going to have to talk. We're going to have to change our mindset and possibly be looking for some downward trends to begin where we do the exact same thing, invert the charts and do it to the downside. All right, guys, stay safe out there. Don't try to front run the Fed. Let's react when we have clarity early next week.